Hello, kids! Welcome back to Kids Story Nook, where fairy tales meet science magic. Today's tale is a magical one about two children you already know and a boy whose beanstalk once touched the sky. But this time, there's no giant at the top. Instead, there's a giant secret hidden in the leaves below. Let's step into our story and discover Jack and the Green Secret. Are you ready? Let's begin. Once upon a time, deep inside a forest, two children wandered through the tall green trees. Their names were Hansel and Gretel. They had escaped from the Wicked Witch's candy house and were trying to find their way home. But the forest seemed endless. The trees looked the same in every direction. Hansel tried to stay brave, but his stomach rumbled. Gretel's feet ached, and her throat was dry. Just then, Hansel stopped suddenly and pointed ahead. Through the mist, something shiny and green shimmered in the sunlight. They blinked and gasped. In front of them stood a beanstalk, so tall that its tip disappeared into the clouds. At its base stood a cheerful boy pouring water from a tin can, humming a happy tune. Hansel and Gretel ran closer. The boy turned around and smiled kindly. His eyes sparkled, and he said, "Hello there, I'm Jack, and this," he pointed proudly to the towering plant, "is my beanstalk." The children were astonished. Could this be the Jack who once climbed up to the sky? Jack laughed softly. "Yes, that was me. But this beanstalk isn't magic like the old one. It's even more amazing. It grew with something called science." Hansel and Gretel looked puzzled. Gretel frowned. "But Jack," she asked, "plants don't even have mouths. How can they eat?" Jack gently knelt beside the beanstalk and patted its large green leaves. "You see," he began, "plants are clever. They don't eat like we do. They make their own food. Every morning, these leaves soak up sunlight," he said. "They breathe in carbon dioxide from the air and drink water from the soil. Inside their leaves, something magical happens, a process called photosynthesis." He smiled and added, "Photo means light, and synthesis means to make something. So plants make their food using light." Hansel's eyes widened. "So the leaves are like little kitchens?" Jack nodded. "Exactly. Inside each leaf, the sunlight, air, and water mix together to create a kind of food called glucose. It gives the plant energy to grow taller and stronger every day. And guess what?" Jack added. "When plants make their food, they also give out something very special, oxygen. That's the air we breathe." Gretel looked up at the towering beanstalk and whispered, "So this giant plant is actually eating sunlight and giving us air to breathe?" Jack laughed warmly. "Yes, the sun is its meal, the air is its drink, and the green color in the leaves, that's chlorophyll. It helps the plant cook its own food. Plants are precious because they are Earth's natural oxygen makers. We can't live without oxygen." Hansel and Gretel were amazed. They sat beneath the beanstalk's cool shade, watching the light dance across the leaves. For a moment, the forest didn't feel scary anymore. It felt alive, full of quiet magic and science. And now, it's time for your fun questions. Let's see how well you remember the story. What 3 things do plants need to make their own food? Answer: sunlight, air, and water. What is the special process called through which plants make food? Answer: yes, photosynthesis. And what part of the plant works like its kitchen? Answer: exactly, the leaves. Wow, you're just as smart as Jack. Now a bonus question. What do plants give us while making food? Answer: yes, oxygen, the air we breathe. Now it's your turn to do a little green experiment at home. Here's what you'll need. A few beans, like rajma or mung beans, some cotton, a small glass jar or cup. Step 1. Place the cotton inside the jar and wet it a little. Step 2. Put the beans on top. Step 3. Keep the jar near a sunny window. Watch closely for a few days. Tiny roots will grow, then a stem, then leaves. Ask yourself, when my plant stands in sunlight every day, what might it be doing? That's right, making its own food, just like Jack's beanstalk. As the day came to an end, Hansel and Gretel thanked Jack for sharing his green secret. Jack pointed them to the way out of the forest and handed them a few beans. "These aren't magical beans," he said, "but if you care for them, they'll grow strong, just like you." Hansel and Gretel waved goodbye and walked toward home, holding their beans carefully. The forest no longer felt dark. It shimmered with life. And from that day on, whenever they saw a green leaf, they remembered Jack's words. Every leaf is a tiny kitchen, cooking food with sunlight, drinking water from the ground, breathing in air, and giving life back to the world. Quick recap: why plants are so precious. 1. Plants make their own food through photosynthesis. In this process, they take in sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide, the gas we breathe out. 2. During photosynthesis, plants create glucose, their food, and release oxygen into the air. So while they eat sunlight, they also exhale life. 3. This oxygen is what humans and animals breathe in to live. Without plants, there would be no fresh air, and life on Earth would stop. 4. They also clean the air by absorbing extra carbon dioxide and balancing the planet's gases. If you loved discovering this green secret, give this video a big thumbs up. Share it with your curious friends, and don't forget to subscribe to Kids Story Nook for more fairy tales that spark your science magic.